Still, one thing both parties can agree on is setting aside more money for testing. This is something the Department of Health and Human Services is already working on. It's investing $12 million to speed up the development of a single-use at-home PCR test. So let's talk now with the company behind the device, Visby Medical, and its founder and CEO, Adam de la Zerda, joins us now. Adam, congratulations on the funding announcement. Explain how your device works and how you envision people using it in their homes.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for having me. So let's say you need to get tested for COVID today. Today, you have to make a compromise. Do you care about accuracy or do you care about speed? Because it's very hard to get both at the same time. Let's say you need to go and visit your grandmother and you want to do the right thing. You want to get tested, you don't want to expose her. Well, the right way to do that, if you care about accuracy in this case, is to collect a sample and send it out to a laboratory test. This is called a PCR test. About $1 million sofa-sized instrument. It works really well. It's very accurate. So by the time you get the result back, let's say 3 days later, you know that you were negative, but you know that you were negative 3 days ago.
Yeah.
The challenge is you really want to know, are you negative right now? Of course, the alternatives to the rapid tests, these are the non-PCR tests, but then the sensitivity could be as low as 60 or 70%. And then you really, again, have to make this compromise. Are you willing to take that chance? This is really where we come in. What we found is a way to take the large PCR machines, the truly lab accurate results. You'll typically find those machines in the hospitals and pathology labs. Mm-hmm. And we find a way to miniaturize them down to this device right here that I'm holding. And what you see here is an entire PCR machine. This is the only single-use rapid PCR test out there.
Right.
And the way it works is you take the sample from the nose, right, and you put it in here. And all you have to do is just to close this lid like so. And now you need to press those 3 buttons, 1, 2, 3 in this order. And in less than 30 minutes, you'll get an answer right here on this panel. They'll show you either 1 line, which means you're negative, or 2 lines, which means you're positive.
Okay.
And so that's really the way that this works. Yeah.
That sounds great, and it sounds so simple to use. What's the timeline here? Because I know you're applying for FDA emergency use authorization. How long before my co-anchor Renita or my producer Brian can actually use one at home?
Right. So we received the first FDA authorization not too long ago, but that's for the usage of this device in labs. Really, where this government support comes in is to help us take it really to the next level. So this will be able to go all the way to the point of care settings, and most important, to people's homes, so that everyday people will be able to run this and have access to a laboratory accurate technology in the palm of their hands, really.
Is this a 2021 device or is this a 2022 device?
Yes. So the at-home use will probably happen if around 2022 or so.
Okay.
Where this the government support also comes in is to say, there are other really important viruses that we want to test for as well, in addition to COVID, say influenza and other important respiratory infections. And what this support is doing is recognizing that this platform of ours can do more than just COVID, but can really look for a whole host of infectious diseases at the same time.
Right, that's the cool thing about it, because you can test for influenza A and influenza B along with COVID. I know it's really early days, especially if this is going to be a 2022 device, but at what point will Visby be able to determine what the cost per test will be for consumers? Can you ballpark at all how much it might be?
Well, the intent is certainly to make it affordable to consumers, and we wouldn't be here if that was not the direction. There's a very clear rule where the more we produce, the more we invest in automation lines and so on, the more efficient we are in producing it, and the less it costs. So that direct correlation is one that we're working on right now. We are manufacturing in the United States so that we have control of our own fate, and are able to really make sure that we can continue to decrease the cost and be in control of the supply chain, which are not trivial, especially during a pandemic.
Okay, very quickly here, Adam, in some ways, the test seems too good to be true because PCR is a gold standard, as you point out. And this is something you've been working on, the miniaturization of laboratory standard machines for years now. It just so happened that COVID came up and you're able to adapt the science for it. The problem is that Theranos promised us something similar a few years ago, and that turned out to be a complete sham. So there is a lot of skepticism and doubt out there. How do you change that thinking? How do you turn that skepticism around?
Well, it's a great question. So I would say first and foremost, transparency. You can actually look inside of our device, see exactly how it works by looking through our patents. In addition to that, all of the clinical trial results we are submitting to the FDA, unlike the other company that you mentioned, that had a way to essentially circumvent FDA. We work directly with FDA. And also, as you pointed out, we've been working on this now for the last 8 years, a little more than 8 years. And we've been working with wonderful scientists and professors all over the country. The prior device we've been working on is really looking for sexually transmitted infections. That study was more than 1,800 patients, almost 2,000 patients that we tested across 15 different sites of the United States. We got the full support also in that case of the federal government. The NIH funded all of that study as well. And that actually just came out in the Lancet Infectious Disease as a publication for everyone to review.
Adam, thank you so much. Adam De La Zerda of Visby Medical. Appreciate it.